All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be teaching a class of Ignite, Keller Williams, and today we're going to be covering a portion of the class where I think it's really important. It's your calendar. It says live by your calendar, right? In real estate, there's a lot of distractions. The reason that some people become successful and then afterwards they seem to go take a nosedive to being a little less successful and a little less productive is because once you become a little more successful, everybody starts taking your time away from the one thing that got you successful, right? Which is lead generating, which is focusing on business. I think in real estate, because we're always so available, that people think you have all the time to answer everybody's calls. But not all calls are created equal, right? So you have to protect your time and how you spend your time in order to become a more successful real estate agent, right? So let's just talk about it. You have to live by your calendar. You have to protect your time because nobody else will. Now you're able to schedule tasks and activities on your calendar based on your prioritized action plan. Review your action plan and calendar every week. Delete items you've completed and add new actions that have come your way, right? So you're constantly going to be changing things. Depends on where you are in your real estate career is how you're going to set your schedule. When I was in a part of career where I was lead generating all the time, I'd come into the office, check my emails, and then from 8 to 12 or 8 to 2, I'm lead generating, right? So what you have to do is just make sure that whatever time you allocate to your business should be allocated to your business. And then when you're lead generating, you don't want to be answering calls that aren't bringing you business, right? All the time. What you want to do is just make sure that you're doing things that are going to produce results for you so you don't quit the business, basically. This approach helps you maintain focus on daily jobs and long-term goals at the same time. It reduces stress, puts you in control, and gives you real sense of achievement. Truth. Successful agents plan their days and stick to their plans. This is when I realized how important this is. I look at the school schedule for my son's calendar every year. They get the same days off. They get the same weeks off, same long weekends off. And if you really think about that, most people, if you have kids or however your calendar works, you have to figure out what your situation is. There's 9 long weekend holidays. They're going to get April vacation. So what I did is work backwards, right? There's birthdays, right? Your kid has a birthday. Your family has a birthday. You have a birthday. You want to have a sense of life. So pick the days when you're off and pick the days when you work, right? So take your calendar out and do that immediately, right? Just go through and say, every year on my birthday in August, I want to take this time off. And it may not happen the first 2 years, but what happens is inevitably you start living your life that way and you start planning your life that way. And each year you get better and better and better. Now, time blocking is a tool for organizing your day and focusing on the dollar productive activities that matter the most. Remember that first you are in business of lead generation. So most of the time we end up getting too distracted, right? Wondering what we're going to eat for lunch or who are we going to see. And you got to think of it 2 ways. There's your family life and there's your dollar producing activities in business life. You cannot be at work and doing things that aren't producing results, because then you're going to find yourself having no business, right? Nobody cares about your time, but you need to protect it because distractions come from everywhere, right? Especially the busier you get, the more people want your time, and you just have to protect your time, right? So time block for lead generation. Write down exactly the days of the week and the hours you will work on your lead generation in your calendar. Time block for lead generation every day for up to a month for the duration of Ignite or your career, I would say. Time blocking for home previewing, at least 10 homes a week. So if you're not out there doing business, you want to be time blocking and show in your calendar. You want to include going out there and showing property, right? So block your calendar. For instance, in my calendar, I decided that Sundays I will spend with my kid, right, all day. So if I have to, I will do all my appointments early in the morning, right? You're obviously going to have to get some help. And then what I'm going to do is I'm shutting it down. Now, obviously, you have to take calls. But don't you realize that me feeling better about spending time with my family and being more fulfilled brings me at my best to work? If you think of regular jobs that aren't sales related, that are not in real estate, they have certain days they're off and they don't worry about it. In real estate, you're always on. And if you're always on, you're going to burn out, right? I got feeling burnt out. In the beginning, I used to work all Sundays, all Saturdays, and I got to feeling burnt out. And you have to give the time to the people that you love, and then you have to give the time to your career. And you have to pick what days they are and stick to it, because no matter how long you're in business, people are going to try to knock that schedule around. So block your calendar is number one. For the same time period before noon, every single day, week after week, the morning is generally the best time for lead generation, as it ensures you do not get caught up in other activities and lose the day. When I used to lead generate all the time, people would ask me, what hours do you do? What times do you do? And honestly, morning to mid afternoon to late afternoon, all the time. That's your business, right? Now, if you don't want to do that and then you're complaining about not having business, you're just not protecting your schedule or sticking to your schedule. Where if I hired you to work for me specifically, I would say, get to work at this time, do this, and then leave at this time. You're working for yourself, so you should be able to tell yourself the hours that you're working and tell yourself the hours that you're not working. Make it clear, have scheduled time blocks for personal life and time blocks for business life. I would also schedule when and what time blocks I would go on appointments. So my assistant would know, like, every day after I'm done calling, from 2 to 8 at night, I'm available, schedule me, right? So if it's at 1 p.m., I can't go because I'm still calling to get new business, right? So you have to set those parameters. No skipping. If you erase it, you must replace it. If any event stops you from accomplishing your lead generation as you set time, that commitment does not simply disappear. It's up to you to make up the lost opportunity in other time slots. Now, I always say you don't have to lead generate forever. However, to get your business to a certain level, I've lead generated for 8 to 9 years before I was able to get some help and then start focusing on bigger money producing activities, because I just couldn't. My business was growing, right? So in order to get to that point, you have to be willing to work for a long time. Allow no interruptions. Unless it's a real emergency like a family crisis, it's easier than you think to waste precious time on unrelated phone calls, water cooler chat, or putting out fires that can wait until later. Everybody acts like everything's a fire, but it's not. If you don't answer that phone call and you just give it a few minutes, maybe a half hour or two, things find to dissolve and to kind of like fix themselves without you jumping into it. However, if every time something comes up, you go and you leave your schedule, you leave what you're supposed to do, you leave the showings that you're supposed to do, you don't stick to your calendar, well, inevitably, you end up not having business. And that's what it means to stick to your calendar. This is a simple one, right? Wake up, family time. I believe family time is important. That's what's going to fuel you in your personal life. And you don't want to ruin those relationships, right? You can't drop that glass ball, right? If you're juggling glass balls and one is your business life and one's your family life, well, you can't really drop the family life one, right? That's important. Those people are important. Make time for them. Attend Ignite power sessions, right? This class from Ignite. So that's what you would do. If not doing that, you would lead generate, right? Attend appointments. See that from 1 to 2. I'm available on appointments. Complete daily 10 to 4 assignments. Respond to emails and phone calls at a certain time. You don't check it all the time. In my calendar, I have like social media, 12 to 12:30, right? everything has to have a time slot just so you know how you allocate your time. You see? And that's what it means. That's what it means to protect your time. Live by your calendar. If you want to grow a successful business and grow bigger as an individual agent, you have to schedule your time and let your team and the people around you know at this time I'm working on the business and at this time I'm available for you, right? So could you please respect this time so we could spend better quality time together? And what happens is inevitably when you're with your family, you can focus and be there. And when you're in business, you can focus and be there. And the cool thing about that is you end up A, being more focused, and B, the people in your life probably appreciate it a lot more. So that's an Ignite quick session on how to follow your calendar and make sure that your time blocking your activities that are producing results for you in your business and helping you grow, and you're also time blocking for your family.